What's going on, guys? Fighting Game Select is here. We are back again to talk about some amazing fighting games. We got a special guest, one of the master of the Rashids. And man, let me tell you, this guy had a great run at the LCQ. That LCQ felt like CPT, the Capcom Finals in my eyes. But yo,
sure did.
JB, what is good, bro?
What's up, man? What's up? Thanks for having me, bro. I'm glad to be here. Glad to finally be doing something with you, man. Like, I've known you for years, and I feel like we've
been one of my bros. You've been one of my bros, dog. You know, you've been my road dog, bro. Like every time we chill, it was always good vibes, and
yeah, definitely.
I'm glad now that we got a chance to be like, yo, let's just make some time and just talk with the viewers, right?
Hell yeah, man.
Rashid was one of those characters that nobody really took seriously, I felt, for the first month of the game, right?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. He's one of those characters that, like, I mean, I feel like it could be because of his Street Fighter 5. Like, I feel like when Rashid came out, people were gonna judge whether on how good he was compared to Street Fighter 5. You know what I mean? And in Street Fighter 5, he was a menace, right? So people, as soon as they saw that, you know, he no longer had these really far-reaching normals, he no longer well, at least they thought he wouldn't get two V triggers around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though I guess now it's even better, right? But just people thought that he wouldn't be the same character. People thought that he was going to be weaker. So people kind of slept on him in the beginning. And to be honest, it took a little bit of time to develop like a good playstyle with Rashid to where people finally understood, all right, this character is kind of crazy, like borderline top 5, maybe even top 5, you know what I mean?
But I will say that I think one of the biggest things that make him so good is that his V trigger was he has to be losing to build the V trigger, but now he could be winning and
he could be winning and still have it. Hey, that's a very good point. I've actually never heard anybody mention it that way or put it that way, but that is a very good point, definitely.
Yeah, and the fact that now that he's winning and then you try to take your turn back and then it's back in neutral, then he can spin it again. So it's just like, oh man, like I really feel like I feel like if I let him live, that I'm going to lose the round. And that whole tornado mechanic with the wind makes his gameplay even more oppressive, I feel.
No, yeah, for sure. He's one of those characters that you have to spend a meter to kill him if you have the kill. You can't just let him go because one back throw into the corner and he pops level 2, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, I look at you as one of the legendary Rashid players that are obviously very strong in the Street Fighter 6, and obviously you picked up this character later on than most characters being able to be comfortable with their characters. So now that we kind of got some time to kind of put it in the grill and sizzle it down a little bit, what is Rashid's biggest strength so far?
I think Rashid has a lot of strengths. I think that when you think about Rashid's biggest strengths, you kind of think about what are the biggest strengths of pretty much every character who's a top tier in this game. Right. So what's the criteria for that? Right. It would be a good drive rush normal. Right. Like low forward drive rush. It would be a good drive rush, like empty drive rush, normal as well to come out of drive rush. Like, for example, DJ drive rush stand jab, Ken's drive rush jab, and then Rashid's crouch or drive rush crouch light kick. Right. So Rashid has also good damage. He has good corner carry, which is indicative of a top tier. He has good Oki. He has an overhead. He has a lot of setups, a lot of ways to convert damage as well. Like he can get damage from pretty much any straight hit. And also corner carry. So I feel like those are Rashid's strengths. So his biggest strength is obviously, in my opinion, his level 2. Right, so his level 2. Once you pop that level 2, it feels like the match is heavily in your favor. At least the round is, right. It feels like that round for sure you won it. Unless you fail to open the opponent up, but that probably will only happen like 20% of the time you pop a level 2. You know what I mean? You're at least gonna get 2-3 throws in, if anything. If they just block the whole way through and they don't fall for the mix up, whatever. But yeah, man, he's a really good character. He's a really strong character. So I would say those are his biggest strengths. It would be drive rush, corner carry, and level 2.
A lot of his just combos, they just do a lot of multi-hitting. So yeah, I agree with the corner carry and having anything that is like Ken, where he just does target combo into Tatsu and you're in the corner. Like, even having something similar to that isn't that easy, but you can do it, is so important in a game like Street Fighter 6.
Yep. Definitely.
And I really like the fact that we talked about, the level 2. Obviously that is the most like obvious strength. But one thing I do like about how he's balanced and designed is that even though his normals may not feel like as oppressive as like some of the other characters, like the combos and the multi-hitting, it builds so much meter a lot that I feel like level 2 is always such a consistent factor. Which is why,
for sure.
Which is why when you brought that up, I thought that was pretty good. Now let's talk about Rashid's weaknesses. There has to be a couple of weaknesses that he has, because when he first came out, people thought he was.
Let's talk about his biggest weakness, right? Rashid's biggest weakness is, and any Rashid player would tell you this, are his anti-airs. His anti-airs are extremely inconsistent. They recently just buffed his EXDP to where it's a lot more invincible. So that button, you can press it at the peak of a character's jump and you'll still be able to hit them. No problem. So his anti-airs are definitely a little bit better than they were pre-patch, but if the opponent is right next to you and they jump with a really far reaching down normal, like let's say Luke's jump heavy punch, Ken's jump heavy punch, Jury's, right? If they jump with stuff like that, it's pretty much makes it almost impossible to anti-air them unless you parry. You know what I mean? It's also kind of like the same weakness that a character like Marissa would have, right? So anti-airs are definitely Rashid's biggest weakness. Another weakness is obviously his neutral normals are not the best. So his footsie normals are not the best outside of maybe stand medium kick and crouch medium kick, right? Outside of that, he doesn't have really far-reaching limbs. He doesn't have broken hurt box limbs. You know what I mean? Like buttons that you can just throw out without being afraid of getting whiff punished. He doesn't really have any like that. You know what I mean? Like, for example, most crouch medium punches in the game, like Gao's crouch medium punch, Luke's crouch medium punch, Ken's crouch medium punch, Cammy's crouch medium punch. He doesn't really have normals like that. So that's definitely one of the weaknesses, because if he had a normal like that, oh man, he would be definitely top 2, top 3, as well as anti-airs. If he had a solid anti-air, I truly believe he'd be the best character in the game. If he had a consistent anti-air that didn't get hit all the time, you know what I mean?
I can hear it in your voice. You sound so frustrated. And then as far as like having like those god neutral buttons, obviously you're not the one pressing a lot, and you have to do a lot of like special moves and things like that. And I think that's why they designed like this move. They're like, we don't want you using buttons. We want you to just use this mixer, right? They want you to use mixer. They want you to use tornado,
fireball, stuff like that.
Like those are your tools to like play the neutral. But the problem is with that is those are high risk, right? High risk, while normals are medium risk to low risk. So like you are playing like that risky game. But obviously, if you're a good player, you know how to play risk reward.
Well, yeah, I mean, his buttons are good if you press them with a strategy in mind, right, or with a purpose. Or with intention, like there are characters, like the characters we mentioned, like Luke, Ken, Cammy, whatever. They can press their buttons
and be out of fear,
and just wish punish with them, like just do whatever the heck they want and just throw those buttons out and without being afraid of getting punished, But Rashid can't do that, so you have to pick and choose when you use the buttons. You have to use them with a purpose, you know what I mean? And because of that, it works out if you use them right. But if you don't have a lot of experience with Rashid, then you'll definitely feel like he's on the weaker side in neutral, and you'll probably struggle in neutral a lot.
We talked about a little bit about him being like, on the, potentially top 5. So I'm assuming, him being up there, it has to be he has a lot of good matchups. So like, what are like the best matchups for him?
Dawson is definitely a matchup that I probably never struggle with as Rashid. Rashid has a lot of strengths against Dawson, right? So he has a really good a really good whiff punish for Dawson. Stand fierce, drive rush, forward heavy kick, answers those like the far reaching normals from wherever you are on the screen. Fireball as well, because the fireball goes horizontal a little bit and then goes up. The fireball is good for kind of option selecting multiple different scenarios. So if the Dawson likes to float, the fireball beats him, right? And if the Dawson likes to throw a lot of normals on the ground, then the fireball hits those normals because the fireball has a lot of active frames and it stays, horizontal for a little bit before going up. So, kind of like the strength that Dawson has against other Shotos, which is just float over their fireballs, teleport when they throw it, right? He doesn't really have that against Rashid. He has to carefully maneuver Rashid's fireballs because Rashid's fireballs kind of do everything. If they try to jump back and float, they get hit, right? And like I said, if they try to press a button, then they get hit as well. And so, that matchup, on top of all the pressure that Rashid can do to Dawson in the corner, because Dawson does not have a good wake up, it's just terrible for Dawson. You know what I mean? So after Dawson, you know what? Manon is definitely a really good matchup for Rashid.
And I'm assuming just Manon mainly because she has a floaty jump, right? She has a hard time trying to evade the fireball.
Exactly. And that's mostly what it is. Yep.
Yeah, and that alone is bad because what's funny? I was talking to Idom about this. She has a lot of things that she has a normals that can really counter poke normals. But here's the thing: is that Rashid is not throwing normals, so he's throwing them fireballs and using a special move. So what makes her really good is non-existent against Rashid.
No. That definitely helps a lot. Also the new EXDP buff, because Manon's jump feels like it goes extremely far with her jump heavy kick.
Yeah.
So because of that, Rashid's EXDP, also goes pretty far. So they kind of meet halfway when you're anti-airing her. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when they throw out that jump heavy kick, I'm like, damn, if she didn't throw that out, she would not have gotten anti-aired. You know what I mean? But because Rashid's DP goes far and Manon's jump heavy kick goes far, then they obviously Rashid anti-airs her, right? But in terms of good matchups, I think Rashid wins a lot of matchups. I just think that those two matchups are probably his best. But I think Rashid definitely fights pretty much most of the cast in this game. I think Rashid does good against all of the Shotos. He does good against obviously characters like Jamie, characters like Dawson, characters like Manon, characters like Kimberly. Rashid just pretty much has the whole tool set. And there's one thing that new fighting games kind of have that I really don't think existed in old fighting games. It's characters with Rashid's archetype. You know what I mean? Or characters with Marissa's archetype, right? Those characters where they're a hybrid of footsie base and into grappler, into even a fireball sometimes, you know what I mean? Those type of characters kind of really didn't exist back in the day, and because of that, they win a lot of matchups now when they are in a fighting game. You know what I mean? Because all of their weaknesses that a character would have, like a grappler would have, a character like Rashid and Manon, they just don't have. Rashid and Marissa, they just don't have some of those weaknesses. You know what I mean? Yeah,
usually Rashid archetypes would be just a gimmicky type of character, right?
Exactly, really short, stubby limbed and all of that.
Yeah, and they just they just have these tricky designs. But they can't play anything else outside of that, and the players just have to be really good with that.
Exactly, but with low damage as well.
Yeah, but these characters is we could just do it all. We talked about a lot of the good things. Now, what are the bad matchups?
I would say it's 100% Luke is his worst matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Luke is the matchup that I absolutely just despise playing against. And it's not really so much of Rashid can't answer things that Luke has. It's pretty much just one thing that makes that matchup terrible, and it's Luke's jump heavy punch.
I knew it, bro.
Yeah, Luke's jump heavy punch is just impossible to anti-air at times, and even if you're ready for it, you'll still lose. Because it is just physically impossible to press that button fast enough, or press your anti-air fast enough with all of the mental stack that this game requires at times, right? And sometimes you just get hit into a full combo. And I guess the other thing that I would say that makes the matchup bad is just the fact that you can just die with one mistake. You can make one mistake and you're pretty much dead. You know what I mean? Let's say Luke jumps in on you with that jump heavy punch. You try to anti-air, you get counter hit. He can go straight into a crouch fierce, into drive rush, into level 3, and you just lost 75% of your health for trying to anti-air him. You know what I mean? But that's something that every other character goes through. It's not just Rashid. You know what I mean? So yeah, if I had to pick one thing that's just bad in that matchup, it's truly just the jump just the jump heavy punch. If that jump heavy punch was nerfed, I think Rashid would definitely win that matchup. And another matchup that I would say would be the Cammy matchup. Cammy is kind of the same way. She can jump on Rashid freely, especially in the corner. Like from far away, let's say you guys are playing footsies, you're playing neutral. Cammy can try to mix her dive kicks up and stuff like that. But EXDP and medium mixer work really well for anti-airing Cammy when it is like mid-screen, right? But in the corner, when Cammy can either do a full jump or she can do an early dive kick or an EX dive kick in order to like stuff you out of the heavy mixer and stuff like that, the matchup becomes very difficult to play. So those two characters definitely I struggle with.
Man, I can see the Cammy, and then her walk speed too. It's really you gotta pay attention to that, and then on top of that, the dive kick and all of that. Damn, those two. And I feel like it's crazy because I feel like one of the bad matches for him is a very popular character. You know, like Luke is going to be everywhere for a very long time, I feel.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you know, having a popular character be a really bad matchup is I feel like it's a bit rough because you know, you can always get got, you know.
Well, yeah, exactly. Most of my tournament losses, I think pretty much like 70% of my tournament losses have been to a Luke. It's just always Luke. Every time I successfully play in a bracket that has no Luke, I'm like pretty much guaranteed top 3 or even grand finals or even the win sometimes. You know what I mean? So Luke has definitely been a demon for me. I lose to so many Lukes, but like I said, even though Luke is a really strong character, I have a lot of hope that they'll nerf his jump heavy punch and it'll make the matchup a lot easier, because that's truly the only problem I have with Luke right now. Obviously, aside from his damage, it's just the jump heavy punch.
Yeah, we got to look forward to like the system changes too. It might be some system changes that make characters like him not as good anymore.
I hope so, but I mean, judging by Street Fighter V, they didn't have a new mechanic until Season 3. So hopefully we'll see. Maybe they will have another mechanic so early on, but maybe they won't. You know, Capcom has been a little slow lately, so I don't know what they're really up to. Street Fighter V showed certain characters showed that they were like, okay, you know what? Maybe we do need a patch. You know, like some of these characters are a little like, for example, Balrog's Tap, Rashid in Season 2. At the beginning of Season 2, he was just literally like, that was before they even nerfed the EX Fireball. So
that was Crouch
like
Fierce.
the EX Fireball, Crouch Fierce EX Fireball had only like a 3-frame gap, and then they made DPs non-invincible. So it literally made it impossible to get through that unless you wasted meter. You know what I mean? So they definitely saw that and they were like, you know what, we need to patch some characters, especially Abigail, right? Abigail, season 2.5 or Season 3, right? It was just a menace, right? So they had to change Abigail, right? But yeah, so they're trying to do the same thing with Street Fighter 6. And so far, it's kind of looking like they're going to need to do 2 patches a year again, because Capcom Cup was just, you know, for lack of a better word, it was just an SHIT show. You know what I mean? Like it was just Luke, Ken, JP, Jury everywhere. You know, so it was kind of like it was kind of oversaturated and dry. You know, and there wasn't a lot of character representation in that.
And the craziest part is like, I feel like a lot of people were like, you know, DJ is busted, and then, you know, I feel like he didn't represent as much, and, you know, JP represented LCQ. You know, so like it was just really all over the place. But I would like more Lilies, you know, like I would love
Jamie's,
Jamie,
you know, Ryu, all of those characters.
Like those, you know, even like Aki, like, you know, Broski Aki is like really, really good. So, you know, I wish people would be more investing time into like those type of characters, but, you know, it's really hard to when, you know,
they can't if they want to be competitive.
Yeah, it's really hard to when you press crouch medium punch, and you know, it does it does everything.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: how hard is it to learn like Rashid overall?
I think in Street Fighter 5, it was very hard to learn Rashid because there was a lot of like little scenarios here and there that you would have never seen otherwise, unless you played him all these years. You know, like there are some things when I'm playing in year 6 of Street Fighter 5 that a situation happens that I haven't seen since season 3, but my muscle memory remembers how to do it and remembers how to answer and remembers how to punish it, etc., right? And so that made Rashid, on top of that of like manually timed combos when the opponent is like dropping from the air, when you do certain things, like stuff like that, makes Rashid a lot harder to learn than any other character in Street Fighter V. In my opinion, he was definitely like top 3 hardest characters to pick up in Street Fighter V, right? And although now in Street Fighter 6, I think because Street Fighter 6, most of the mechanics allow most characters to play kind of the same. So like, you know, Luke, Ken, Rashid, Juri, Chun-Li, Cammy, all those characters have low forward drive rush. Because of that, all you really need to learn is just what combo to convert off of, you know what I mean? And that's it. And so I think that aside from Rashid's anti-airs, which is only his heavy mixer and his EX mixer, once you learn those things and learn the muscle memory for anti-airs, I think that he's a very easy character to pick up. I don't think he's hard at all.
And I have a question too, like if there was an ideal situation where you could give tips to like new Rashid players, what would be those tips?
The best advice that I give anybody, I feel like, and I feel like this is the best advice, is to watch top players play the character you want to learn, right? You can look up all the guides on YouTube. You can look up all those things. I even have a guide myself on my YouTube, but I feel like the best way to actually learn how to play a new character is to hop on a stream, watch a top player play the character, and just copy everything they do, right? If they do this on Oki, or to pressure their opponent on wake up, if they do this as an anti-air, if they do this when they're playing defense, just copy it, do it. And one thing that it'll like two things that it'll do, right? It'll help your muscle memory, it'll help you learn combos and stuff like that, and remember them, but also it'll help you understand why it is that some players do the things they do. Because at first you'll look at something, you'll be like, why the heck is he doing that? Right? Like, that doesn't make any sense when this option is probably better. But then you try it and you're like, I see, I understand. He did jump back jab as an anti-air because Luke's jump heavy punch is so fast that the heavy mixer would have missed. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that.
With that being said, man, thank you so much for coming here and spreading the gospel about Rashid.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me.
And now, where can they find you, bro?
So my Twitter is tryhardjb, just like that, just tryhardjb. My Twitch is tryhard_JB, and my YouTube is tryhardjb, just like my Twitter. So you guys can go ahead and find me there. You guys can always hit me up if you have any questions about Rashid.
All the questions you guys want to ask, I'm sure JB will check them out, and we appreciate all of you guys coming through and watching this channel so much. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.